Welcome to the Dental 18 podcast. I'm your host, Kiera Dent, and I have this crazy idea that maybe I could combine a doctor and a team member's perspective because let's face it, dentistry can be a challenging profession with those two perspectives. I've been a dental assistant, treatment coordinator, scheduler, biller, office manager, regional manager, practice owner, and I have a team of traveling consultants where we have traveled to over 165 different offices coaching teams. Yep, we don't just understand you, we are you. Our mission is to positively impact the world of dental, and I believe that this podcast is the greatest way I can help elevate teams, grow VIP experiences, reduce stress, and create A-teams. Welcome to the Dental 18 podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Dentalpreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Mark Costas. Apologize for the rough audio. I know that I'm coming in a little hollow sounding. That is because my great friend Kiera Dent is joining me today, and she is actually recording because I am driving on the freeway. How are you doing today, Kiera?
I'm great. How are you, Mark?
I'm doing great. Great. I had a little bit of a hardware issue. I was expecting a Christmas present from you. That was some new hardware.
I'm never telling you any of my secrets. You always blast them on the air.
Yeah, that's right. I need a new cable. And so I not so subtly told Kiera that I really need this cable. And I was looking in the mail every day
since
I dropped that as like with a bow on it, like this new XLR cable with a bow from my podcasting partner, but it never happened. So
this is the real reason you wanted me to start a podcast, not to like help teams. You're like, I need you to record and send me all the hardware that you know I need. So just send it over. And instead, I asked you like, well, Mark, how do you take care of your cables? Did you wrap them like I do with?
No, they look like spaghetti in a shopping bag. That's how I care for my stuff. Okay,
it's fine.
I admit it.
It's okay.
Anyway, how are you?
I'm great.
Happy holidays. Christmas is over, and I wanted to make sure that you and I got on the last episode of the year. You and I have this tradition of recording our final episode of the year together.
Mm-hmm.
So hey,
I love this. This makes me happy because I feel like it's just such a synergistic relationship you and I have. And the fact that we always like start and end our years together has just been really fun for me because I think everyone should have a Mark Costas in their life where it's just a good friend that motivates you and inspires you. I mean, knowing that we're doing this and starting our years out together, ending our years together, it forces me and pushes me and propels me to be better. So when I get on the podcast or when I chat with you, you and I were texting the other day of, okay, what are we going to talk about? What's your word for this year? How did we recap the end of it? But I really love that you hold me accountable to this. And I just think it's fun. And I sincerely mean, if you guys don't have a friend or an accountability partner that pushes you and inspires you and motivates you to be better, find one. Because I do love that, Mark, you and I do this. And you've been that friend for me to push me and to grow me and because I don't want to pop on the podcast with you or even talk to you in real life, not just podcast life, but that I didn't hold up to the accountabilities that we set last year together, that I didn't push myself hard enough because I know you're doing equally the same. And it's been a really fun rival, like a healthy rival, but like you push me and propel me. And hopefully I add a decent amount of that to your life as well. But in all honesty, I really love that we start and end our years with this because I think about it and it has helped me to become so much better this year because of that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I feel very much the same way. The secret to any small amount or large amount of success that I've had in my life is that if I'm good at nothing else, I'm good at spotting people that are better at things than I am, people that are smarter at certain things than I am. And it's just been kind of the thing that I do best in my life. The only reason I got into dental school is because I had a really great supportive study group. The only reason I got through dental school was the same reason. The only reason that I was successful in business was because I latched on to business coaches and personal development coaches early on. And now with my friendships and what I call my inner circle with you, Jake, Alistair, Kay, those types of relationships are great because they're amazing friendships. But also you guys all have a knack for something that I don't have personally. And it's okay. I mean, don't be judgmental with yourself because you're not super awesome at everything. I mean, everybody has their areas of strength, which means that you could add to somebody else's life in an area that they're not strong in. And that could be a real, relationship like you and I have where, And I love the word synergistic that you use. We do have a synergistic relationship in that we were just talking about this off air. We are both visionaries.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking to Gino Wickman's term of visionaries versus integrators, we are both visionaries and not so awesome at integration sometimes, which is implementation and actually getting the big idea implemented and
Mm-hmm.
executed. But that's why you and I have, each of us has an integrator in our lives. You are a stronger integrator than I am. So when we work together in a partnership, you integrate better than I am. I'm throwing a million things at the wall just to see what sticks. And you're like, okay, this is a good one. This is a good one. This is a good one. And you at least take those big ideas and pass them on to the integrators so that those ideas, those vibrations turn into something tangible in real life.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And I love that you said the inner circle of people. You find people that have strengths in areas that you're lacking. Because before I met you, I feel like a lot of my life, I felt that I had to be everything. I felt that in order for me to be a good partner, it meant I had to be great at business and integrating and visionary and every piece of it. And when I met you, I realized that actually, no, I should surround myself, and I don't have to be that person. Go for the pieces that I really am amazing at, but then find really awesome friendships and people and mentors that can teach me far more than I know on my own. And having that dose of humility really spun me into a much more fluid person to be able to grow and to advance into a much better version of myself than I ever was before. And I love that I watched you, who, Mark, I think so many people look at you as this influencer and this person who's your Mark Costas, but yet to hear that you are willing to bring people in and that you're so good because you surround yourself with all these people that have skill sets that you don't have. When I saw that in you, I realized, oh, I don't have to be everything. I can actually tell people I don't know what I'm doing in this zone. And that's okay because, Mark, you do the same thing. So I think it's really awesome to hear you say that and to publicly express that, to give other people confidence that, like, no, the best way to be the best version of you is to do what you do really, really well, but then find people to complement you in the skill sets that you don't have. So that way we can all rise to a better version of ourselves together as a team. And I think that that's the same thing in dentistry. Like, doctors, you don't have to be everything to everyone. Hire people that fulfill those gaps in your skill sets so that way you can flourish where you love to flourish and bring in people that will dazzle and shine in the zones that they love to do as well.
Oh, I love that. I'm gonna continue on with that theme. I mean, if you think about it, so Kay Lang is my main integrator right now. She's awesome. She's my right hand. She's everything right now. But if you think about like her skill set, she's extremely organized. She has my calendar to the minute, set to the minute. And I don't have the ability or desire to be in charge of that. Like she can understand that, like, okay, if you do 3.5 hour podcasts in a row, you're going to be spent. So don't set another business meeting at the end of that where you're going to be negotiating something and you're going to be exhausted. So she has the ability to look at something at that fine a detail and understand it. She knows exactly how I like to travel. She knows exactly what's important when I land. She gets all of that completely organized. Really, really important stuff. I don't want to learn how to do that. I have the ability to learn how to do that, but I don't want to learn how to do that. We have Jonah, who's my content curator. He does everything as far as my audio, my visual, my podcasts. Could I learn how to edit podcasts? Yeah, of course. You and I both could learn how to edit podcasts. Is that the best use of my time? Definitely not. Right. And then we have a full-time event planner. We do 6 events, live events per year. Could I call all of the hotels myself? Could I call all of the caterers myself? Could I get all that? Do I have the ability, the intelligence, the capability of doing that? Yeah, but it's not my area of expertise, and I'd rather delegate that to somebody that's better at it. They do a better job, and then I can focus on creating content, and it increases my bandwidth for bigger ideas.
For
Does that make
sure.
sense?
It totally makes sense. And I think as you were saying that, I know an area I struggled with was, one, I didn't want to get too big for my britches. Like, at what point do I hire these people in versus feeling like I was just lazy and I didn't want to do it. That was a real hard spin for me to realize, as the business was growing, at what point do I need someone to start planning my events? Up until just recently, I would be at all of my events setting everything up. I'd be the one who would be there at the very beginning. I'd be there at the end. And Mark, I remember at the last event, you looked at me, you're like, Kiera, Why are you here? Why are you the one who's setting all this up? Shouldn't you be going and developing content and making sure you're ready to go for this presentation? And
Right.
and so I
I mean,
think
what's more important, like picking up the note cards and laminating stuff before the event, or
no,
actually going through your presentation two more times to make sure that, oh, don't forget to mention this, don't
yep,
forget to develop this exercise this way. What's more important? I mean,
totally. But
that's part of your evolution. You're not quite there yet, but it's part of your
I am.
evolution.
I'm not doing that anymore. I told them, I said, forget it. I will not be there again. And I want my own hotel room because trying to have somebody in my hotel room and me having to prep for an event became so stressful for me. Oh, I said, no more. Like, I'm done. I've reached my limit. But I think as we evolve as office managers, as treatment coordinators, as dentists, as business owners, I think as we evolve, it comes to a point of when do you start to delegate that out? At what point do you realize you need to bring someone in? And I always spin it back to your time journaling exercise because I can get so far into a rut. And I think it's great because we're flipping to the new year. That's what we're talking about today is as you like evaluate your life to see what areas am I spending time in that if I hired just one person, that it could make a huge difference for me. Am I at that spot? Because Mark, you're exactly right. We have so much more bandwidth than I think we allow ourselves to go into because we're afraid, at least for me, I was afraid, like, am I really ready for that? Do I really need to have a personal assistant? Do I really need someone booking my travel? I'm just snooty over here and I don't want to book my own travel. That was truly what I started thinking. And then I realized it's not snooty. It's not prideful. It's not any of those things. It's just maximizing my time because I only have so many hours a day. Are there people that are better than I am at this that would free me up to do activities that they can't do? And that's that shift. But I didn't see that until I started time journaling and realizing where I was spending all of my time. And that helped me then develop a person that I needed to hire to take those tasks off. Does that make sense to you? Are you?
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm 100% on board with that. I'm 100% on board with that. So, this is an interesting time of year for a lot of us, right, Kiera? We it's a little bit of a self-reflective time. I hope that you guys are taking the time to do a little bit of quiet self-reflection. Here was what I intended to accomplish this year. Here were my goals that I set early last year, or not. But these are the things that I hoped to accomplish. And here's an objective look at what actually was accomplished. Did I grow the practice to the level that I wanted it to? Did I hire the number of key people that I wanted to hire? Did I take this number of vacation days off? Did I approach the level of personal take-home income that I wanted to take home? And with that, we're going to have some sort of objective feedback from 2019. And with that kind of information, we're going to want to set our intentions for next year, for 2020. So as we're setting those intentions, the time journaling exercise is so valuable where you just literally, guys, if you haven't heard me talk about this before, it literally is from the time that you wake up until the time you put your head on the pillow, you write down exactly what you're doing for an entire week, for an entire 5 days. And then you go back with a couple highlighters. In yellow, you're gonna highlight what you could have delegated out for less than whatever amount of money you decide. In the beginning, when I started time journaling, it was, what can I delegate out for less than $100 per hour? And I tried my best to eliminate all of the stuff that I could delegate out for less than $100 an hour. In blue, you highlight all of the things that you cannot delegate for less than $100 an hour. And that is what becomes your high value activities. And then, of course, you want white space, which is neither high value activity nor low value activity, but that's personal time. That's time that you spend with your family. That's time that you put all of your non-negotiables into, like date night with your wife, quality time with each of your kids. That is all white space. So once you have that time journaling exercise completed, then you know the amount of time that you could use to develop and to get to, your goals for 2020. That is where all of the hard work takes place. All of the deep work, as Cal Newport would put it, happens during your white time and during your blue time.
Yeah, I love that. And as you were saying that, and as you were saying about reflecting, I was thinking, I think when we ask better questions, we get better results. So asking yourself, why was my year successful or why was it not successful? And really digging deep into that and looking to see, are you maybe filling your time? I know I'm super guilty of this. Am I filling my time with things that aren't as high value as I could be doing? Am I pushing myself? I remember the day I was sitting at Voices of Dentistry 2 years ago. So shout out there. Mark and I will both be at Voices of Dentistry in January in Scottsdale, Arizona. But 2 years ago, I was sitting at Voices of Dentistry. It was the first time I was there. Realizing I had not listened to enough of Mark's podcast at that point in my life. I really needed to get on the podcast.
Is that what you realized when you were sitting there?
I did, because you called me out on it and you're like, have you listened to all of them? I was like, no, Mark, I'm not even subscribed right now. That was an embarrassing moment. But I sat there and I said, okay, I think, and because Mark, you had talked about our whole life and you did that dang exercise that I love and hate where you tell me how many hours left of my life I have. And I remember sitting there thinking, okay, maybe I should hire a personal assistant. I didn't know what I would do with a personal assistant. I just realized I'm listening to my mentors. I'm listening to these people who are very successful. This is what they do with their lives. And I did it. And there was another quote that I remember I heard. I can't remember if it was that event or another one, but someone told me, don't hire the person you need today. Hire the person that your business will need in like the next 5 months, 6 months, a year. And those two thoughts have really, really impacted me because I've thought, okay, hiring a personal assistant, I didn't know what the heck I would do with a personal assistant. It freed up so much time just getting that person into my world. I was like, wow, there's so many things I could delegate out. And then I went to the next of, I don't think I can hire this person. I don't think I can afford it. And I thought, but what business do you want to have in 6 months, Kiera? Would your business be able to sustain this person? And my answer was yes. So I hired that person and my business grew to that level. And I did that when I was in a dental office as well. I remember hiring a treatment coordinator that I could not afford that day. And I said, you got 3 months to prove to me that we can afford you. Otherwise, I have to let you go. Like, just bottom line, I can't afford you. But I think you can take my business where it needs to go. Our case acceptance exponentially increased because she was the right hire. My entire schedule filled. We were able to massively afford her at that point in 3 months. So those are some things of asking better questions, making sure you're doing that, and asking why or why not your business looks the way that it does. And then I think an even bigger question is, what are you truly willing to do to change to make it look the way you want it to be in 2020?
Yeah, I love that. I love that. We often tackle this challenge with our mastermind members, and it is, okay, here's a really good office manager. She may be overqualified for my office. It's definitely going to throw our overhead off by 3 points because we will know exactly if everything stays exactly the same, here's the impact that it's going to make on your overhead. However, the common theme that we like to point out to people is, why would you hire somebody if everything was going to stay the same? You're going to hire this person with the intention of increasing your revenue, increasing your personal take-home income, and you're going to need a very tangible plan in place if you decide to hire this person. So are you willing to do that? Are you willing to put a plan in place to justify their existence within your organization? What is the positive effect that this person is going to have on your organization if you do pull the trigger? If you're not willing to do that, if you don't have a good tangible plan in place, we can either develop one or it's not the right time to hire that person. But those are the types of questions that you need to ask yourself. And I love the direction you took that, Kiera, where how big do you want to be? What if you're not ready for this person now, what do you want your organization to look like in the next 6 to 8 months? Those are the questions that you should be asking yourself.
Totally. Because it's just a bigger vision. Because I don't know, Mark, if you remember, I remember our podcast last year. We talked about our words. You and I, we tend to have a theme for every year. And this year, my theme was to be balanced and essential. It was to just be. And B stood for balanced and essential. I wanted to have a more balanced life where I didn't feel crazy. And I wanted to just do things that were very essential. That's been the running theme through my life this year. And I will tell you that my life is a lot more balanced than it was last year. I don't travel as much. I have more personal time and more work time. The business thankfully has grown and it's been able to get to a level where it can operate more on its own without me. That was not due to happenstance, guys. I worked really hard to get it that way. I don't think those things just happen. Mark, I know you can attest to that. We have to work really hard to get it there. And then I also worked on being very essential, to where I was only doing things that actually had high impact and value to my life, not busying myself just to feel busy, to feel like I was important. I realized that me being busy was a sign of me feeling important, and I had to work through that to where I could just be essential. And I know, Mark, you had a word. Didn't you have a word for 2019? I know you did. I know exactly what it was. Do you remember?
Yeah, it was poise.
Poise. And
yeah, poise for me. And that's been a big challenge for me throughout my career, kind of trying to balance all these plates all the time, and being kind and focused yet firm with all the people that work for me. I have, 85, sometimes 90, depending on the day, people that work for me. And it's very, very important as a leader to remain poised and be a positive, energetic influence, and not, a dictator that is like, you didn't follow the checklist. So, I'm the systems guy that is really, really attracted to everything in its place. Everything should be just so. Follow the checklist and then check in with me to make sure that you follow the checklist. That's how I was brought up, and that's the rigidity that I bring to leadership. I needed to remember that I had to be poised and be kind. And if somebody wasn't really, I guess if somebody wasn't was the right person for the position, but they weren't responding well to my leadership style, then I had to be poised enough to be patient and say, okay, maybe there's a better way for us to work together. Maybe I need to attack this with a different mindset. And so that was my big word, and that was my big intention for the year. I don't know if I was totally successful at it, so I'm going to continue to work on it. But that was an area of focus for me for sure. This year, it's purpose. This year is to make sure that everything that I do, I'm doing for a purpose, and I am starting to think about that legacy word. Leaving the world a better place.
I love that.
So that's and leaving my family a better place, and leaving my family better, and helping to cultivate relationships within my family. So that's my word for the year. Purpose is my word for 2020.
I like it. And my word for 2020 is strong. To be strong in like my mind, my body, with my relationships, in all aspects of my life. I want to feel very strong. I've let my health kind of get a little wobbly as I grew the business, and like my relationships, and I want to feel very strong in those areas in my life. And so the reason I wanted Mark and I to talk about our words again is because I feel like for all of us, like, choose a word that's really going to impact you for 2020, because it's going to grow your business, it'll grow your personal life, it'll grow your relationships. I don't know, Mark, how yours was last year with poise. I know having balanced and essentialism as my two things really, really helped me stay focused on where I wanted to actually be at the end of the year. And then also gave me kind of a measuring stick of how to reflect back for the year. Did I actually hit it? Not just in number goals, but me as a person. Did I go where I really wanted to go? And did I make sure that the friends and the people around me were supporting me? I had to cut some of my friends out. I had to change some of my circle of influence to make sure where I was going actually was headed in the direction I wanted to go.
That's a great word this year, Kiera. I love it.
Thanks. I like yours. We're going to have a strong purpose, guys. Between Mark and I, we're going to have a strong purpose.
Yeah. Well, I can't thank you enough for starting the year with me, ending the year with me. You and I have some huge plans for 2020. I think that as we continue to grow, it's really important for us to remain grounded and to make sure that we remember our words. Our focus words for the year. And gosh, it is hard, Kiera. As we talked about the last time you and I spoke, I'm full-time dentist right now. And to do full-time dentistry and to still remain creative and poised, there's that word again, and still to grow the other aspects of my life with personal relationships and, the coaching and consulting stuff that we do and all the travel that we do. It's a challenge, but I'm up for the challenge, and I'm looking forward to a really, really productive and purposeful 2020.
I love it. Thank you, Mark. And thanks for letting me be on this, for being on the podcast with you, and for letting me into your life. It's changed me, and I know it's changed a lot of other people. So all of us are super appreciative of you, and it's going to be a strong, purposeful 2020. Let's bring it on. We're going to take it on.
I love it.
We really do have big plans. Every year, Mark and I have big plans. You've got two visionaries in the pond. What do you expect us to come up with? Like, of course, they're going to be big ideas.
Of course. All right, okay. Everybody out there. So just wanted to wish you a very happy holidays and a strong and purposeful 2020. If you guys need anything at all, please reach out to us directly here at info@truedentalsuccess.com. And we're happy to help you navigate anything that we can help you with in the world of practice management, team building, and personal growth. So that's my message for the end of the year, Kiera.
I love it. Thanks again, Mark. I appreciate being on the podcast with you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Kiera Dent.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of our Dental A-Team family. Now, we're going to take it to the world. So help us out. Help us positively impact the world of dental. by leaving us a review, leaving us 5 stars. This is how we can spread it to the masses and help even more people grow to a better version of themselves. Thank you guys so much, and thank you for being a part of my Dental A Team family.